In the last video, we printed this guy. It's an ABS, 4 pieces of plastic to hold 3 safety windows. And then I put a little bit of tape just to make sure there's no ambient light coming out and just to not scratch it when I'm taking it in and out. That worked really well. Remember, when I was doing that video, I decided not to use the fiber MOPA laser because I didn't have the shielding up because I was printing the containers for it. So I used the UV laser on metal and leather. I usually use the fiber laser for metal. So I went through with ComMarker Studio and I went through with LightBurn. And I still prefer LightBurn. And I'll show you some of the struggles I had. But the video after this one, I think, or the one after that, we'll be using ComMarker Studio, because the 3D crystal and how to do it in 3D crystal, and specifically the 70 millimeter sphere or crystal ball. But today is going to be really quick and just show you why you might want to buy LightBurn if you don't already own it, but what you can do with the ComMarker Studio as well. All right, let's get to it. Okay, I brought this image in, and there's 3 different settings: grayscale, halftone, and original. Not a lot of options. Then we can come over here to the library that they give you, which is copper, aluminum. Not a whole lot. The downloadable PDF actually has a lot more settings. I don't know why they didn't preload all of them. And so I end up just going straight to the paper because I can't figure out how to save in this and consistently get a naming convention that I like. So I'm manually entering this from the paper on what it says to do for leather. Now these are the same settings I'll use in both tools. I bring it into the preview, and that's when I notice that the image is wider than what you actually see. So the box around the image is pretty big, and I want to go in and crop it. When you go into crop, you get this little tiny editing window, which isn't awesome. You have to do a lot of zooming in and zooming out, which on a crop, you want as big of a window as possible. After messing around with it, I finally got it the right way. The preview window here is sort of like LightBurn in that when you move it in the preview, you are adjusting the laser and you can see how it's outlining on the object, and you can move it around. You can move the object on the laser bed, or you can move this to kind of get things centered where you want them. Click start. It took about 60 seconds. I'm not going to make you sit here through all 60 seconds. I was so dismayed that I had to double check. Was it on grayscale? And so at the end, you'll see how it turned out and just how upset I was with the settings. Here we are in LightBurn. Same thing. Only to crop it is a little bit different in LightBurn. I like to put things on tool images. If that way a tool image doesn't show, it just gives you alignment, everything. It never goes out on the laser. And so you have T2 and T1, the orange and the blue. And what I'm doing is I'm just making a box here on a tool layer. And then I'm going to take that box and I'm going to apply a mask. Masks are great. You can do all sorts of things with them. And what I'm going to do with this mask is I'm going to flatten it down and make it flatten the image. And that way it's the same as a crop. But, you know, cropping is a rather permanent thing. And if you just want to mask it, it allows you to go back in time and change it. All right. So you see my XY table right there. You see the image. Right now I'm looking at the different things that LightBurn has. It has way more than 3, right? 3D slice, Jarvis. And you can kind of see the dither sample when it's at the bottom there of what you think it might do. Jarvis is typically pretty good. I noticed that the DPI is really low, especially for a UV laser. I can get that dot size really small. So this is looking pretty good. I go in and look at the preview and it's solid black. Now, I wish that the ComMarker software had this, where you can actually see where the laser is going to move and where the laser is going to cut. So I come back and I change it from grayscale up to, I think I eventually end up at threshold. But I'm just looking at all the different options real quick, thinking about how many colors are in this. And I look at threshold, I throw it up in the preview, and here we can see where the laser is moving and where the laser is cutting. And that looks great. That's much better than the solid black thing we saw earlier. So I have pretty good confidence of what's going to happen. You can also zoom in. You can make this window bigger and smaller and zoom in. And you pretty much know what's going to happen. So now I come into the image and I'm typing in the same exact numbers that I had from the piece of paper that we used on the ComMarker Studio software. You'll notice that max power and min power are not options when you're using a UV laser. They are when you're using a fiber MOPA though. Double check my dot pitch, line spacing. All seem to be pretty much the same as the other tool had. Framing it. When we frame it, this is actually projecting it down to the bed. Horrible. Oh my God. Not even the same image. I don't know if you guys, all right, focus. The edges are just horrible. Just absolute garbage. Again, didn't vector it, just did the graphic. Can you see that one? This is the one from the Omni software. And this is the one from LightBurn. Just crisp edges, just nice, simple. Actually what you want, not what you don't want. Which one would you rather have? This one. Yeah. So we have ourselves a little multi-tool with a bright, shiny eagle and the kid's name. So the swag for Ethan is done. That project is done. That did not take that long.